It would appear that Tom Sneva's turned up his boost a little bit, but we must remember fuel is going to play a very important part of this race.
So as Tom Sneva leads, in second place is Rick Mears, and Guerrero and Rahal have threaded their way up through past Andretti and now lie third and fourth. Once again, on Bobby Rahal's car is that magnificent part cam, a little pound-and-a-half camera. There's the view over his shoulder. That is Guerrero ahead, and Guerrero loses control. Coming off in the first turn, Guerrero up-tags the wall. Rahal comes low, gets past him. Guerrero smacks the wall, a good one.
And that's exactly what it looks like from a driver's viewpoint. And Rahal is so lucky that Guerrero didn't advance in front of him. And there is Guerrero on a replay. Looks like he got in a little bit high, pinched the car. He lost the rear end, hit the wall, head on practically.
Well, the yellow flag is out for the first time at Pocono. Roberto Guerrero now climbs out of his car. The car front end damaged, but apparently Guerrero is championship that could have gone away right there. Back at the front of the field, it is Tom Sneva continuing his fight with Al Unser Sr. Sneva smokes the brakes. Big Al moves to the inside. Another chance for Big Al to take the lead. It's a drag race toward the backstretch. Big Al moves up now, has a wheel inside Sneva. They touch. Big Al off the course. Sneva fights for control. Al slams the barrier. Garza gets past. Little Al gets past. Andretti comes through. But Big Al's day is over. Tom Sneva was able to keep that car under control and keep it pointed straight. But Big Al slides off the course. He was trying to pass Sneva, but couldn't get it done.
Boy, that looked like it was inevitable, Paul. You can see here, is watching the replay, Al's on the inside. Sneva just closes the door on him. Al had nowhere to go. He spun off of the course, hit the crash barrier, tore off the wing, and the wheels are bouncing everywhere. Al was very, very fortunate that he didn't get around and get in the other way.
For example, right there would be a reason to be nervous. Passing Chris Neifel, who stays cleanly out of the way, though. But still, when you pass any car at 190 miles an hour, whoa!
Whoops,
Tim.
Gordon Johncock coming into the pits. Look out.
Look at that. Gordon Johncock.
Watch out for the... Oh, wow, how he missed everybody, I don't know.
Look at the guy behind him that he almost hit.
Yeah.
Gordy throwing his steering wheel out. I think he's okay. He's not seriously hurt. Yeah, he's
pointing to the front of the car. He may have his feet caught in there, you know.
All right, there he is, right of your screen. It's amazing. I was talking about that groove. He was wide of the groove, Jim. He was right behind Sneva. Gordy, in the few laps before this, had been doing speeds at about 204 miles an hour.
Look what could have happened. Look at the end of that pit wall. If you hit that, you're finished.
Incredible.
And if his speed had been greater, he could have flipped over that wall.
This was fraught from moment to moment. Now he could have hurt somebody other than himself.
This is the closest we've seen to the kind of a pit crash that we've dreaded for years in Indianapolis. Had the speed been more tremendous, it would have been awful.
He keeps the engine revs high. Andretti pulls away, a 5-second stop. The clutch hooks up. That's the other big worry. Don't break any CV joints. Come out smooth. Watch out for the puddle at the end. He comes away nice and clean. And we've got a car against the wall in the first turn. Michael Andretti, Mario's son, a fire at the back. Michael starts to climb out. The fire appears to extinguish itself. This is just past the pit straight.
He's having trouble getting out, so the car's bent bad. He's all right, though.
Yeah, I think probably he just forgot to take the steering wheel off, and the cars are very close with the wheel, and he was trying to get away from it. Sullivan's in the pits.
The second place car, Danny Sullivan, now rolls into the pits, comes in for a stop. We didn't
AJ, you put on a heck of a show. These people up here gave you a standing ovation when you got out of the car. That doesn't hurt the disappointment, I guess.
Yeah, we really are. We broke the struts on the pods. And
car spinning. We've got a problem, Gary.
Excuse me. We've
got a real problem, Gary. As we have one car spinning, Gary Bettenhausen, and it looks like that was Howdy that got right into him. Got a car up against the wall. I want to hesitate because we're getting two different reports on what that car is on the outside there.
The drivers are okay. That's the main thing. They look fine.
And that is Roberto Guerrero against the wall.
No.
Now they're giving us another report, so I'm just going to stop and wait. We know that that's Gary Bettenhausen. That's Gary Bettenhausen climbing out. But
we really can't tell with this other car. And there's 3 different possibilities. Bobby, I don't even want to suggest. You know him a bit better. Can you tell?
Well, it looks like possibly the 41 car to me, but
that's
again,
what I thought
I just really can't tell.
You can't see the rear wing. The helmet would be. We'll just wait. But apparently, the 82 car lost it, and there was nothing that could be done there.
You know what?
Bobby Rahal comes off the course. He was involved in that accident. I think that's what got to us. We couldn't really tell. There's the Rahal car, and he's out of it.
Well, I was guilty on this one, Paul, because I was watching the monitor, so I really didn't see what happened on the racetrack.
Really confusing there. We'll try and make sense of that one in just a moment. All right, we'll try and take a look at it again. Apparently 2 simultaneous accidents occurring here, and we'll try and show them to you. You're looking at Gordon Johncock. Al Holbert high. Obviously somebody's lost it in front of him. That's Bentonhausen.
Oh.
And Rahal catches the wall alongside of Holbert.
Look at that car up on top of the other one there.
Now, as we continue to watch,
car was clear up on top of the other one. Car was double stacked there for a while.
Somebody had to suck their breath in on that one too.
That's a pretty close deal.
That's dangerous.
We've seen the weirdest wrecks today we've seen in an awful long time.
2 simultaneous accidents.
Look at that car get up on top of him now.
Look at that car almost turned over the screen though. You've got 2 accidents here, and I think that's Howdy, but I'm still not sure. Let's wait. CART is trying to get us all the official reports. And as you can see, maybe if you got one of those wonderful giant screen TVs at home, you can tell better than we can on the small monitors here. But we're watching. And they can't get good running room as Tom Sneva around Rahal and into first place. Tom Sneva picks up the lead once again. Problem on the course over in turn 4. A car smacks the wall and smacks it hard. Phil Kruger, this is the 3rd time in the 4th turn, and this time it's serious. Kruger not moving in the cockpit. There's the safety crew very carefully. No fire. The car badly damaged. Phil Kruger appears, from our point of view, to be unconscious. Now we're going to be careful. We'll wait until we hear what the safety people say. You see the teamwork. The first official, his job is simply to make sure that driver is okay and protect him. He gets his head up right. They're concerned about anything, cervical spine, possible breaks in the neck or anywhere down in the spinal column. The yellow flag, of course, out as the field comes down. The car, you see, has actually come to a stop on the entrance to the pit road, so they'll have to be extraordinarily careful. We're back live at the Michigan 500. This is Paul Page with Bobby Unser, Bruce Jenner, Gary Gerald. You're taking a look at Phil Kruger's machine, a look that the safety teams and his crew are taking as well. Badly battered. Phil Kruger conscious when he went to the hospital, in the hospital now. So Phil Kruger in a serious accident here at Michigan International. Let's get the update word now and go to the pits and Gary Gerald.
Well, Paul, here's Dr. Olvey, who's just come out of the emergency hospital compound here now. What can you tell us about Phil's condition?
Yeah, Gary, Phil is awake and talking. He's alert. He knows he's at Michigan. He was unconscious at the scene, so we'll be sending him into the hospital for observation. He'll also have to have some x-rays of his legs because he took a pretty good bump on the leg. Can't tell anything right now, but he looks like he got away with some minor injuries.
Well, certainly an encouraging report from down here at the hospital compound. Thank you, Dr. Olvey. Back to you, Paul.
Thank you, Gary. We all certainly wish the best to Phil Kruger as he makes that trip to the hospital. It does, though, speak for the safety on these machines. Rick Mears.
This is where the race was decided last year. What will happen here in 84? Andretti down through turn 3. Through turn 3, through turn 4. Sneva's trying him on the inside. An accident on the backstretch. An accident on the backstretch. As they come to the line, they'll see the yellow flag and the checkered flag. And Mario Andretti appears to win the race, but boy, it was close. It was close with an accident on the backstretch at the same time, similar to last year. That was Pancho Carter flipping down the backstretch. Andretti's crew says they did it. There is Carter's car. A tremendous run for Carter. He was running up in 3rd and 4th, and then an accident as the checkered comes out.
Boy, I'll tell you, Paul, we've seen more. I'm happy to see right now that Pancho is moving, so I'm hoping that he's not hurt too bad. My congratulations to Mario, but I'm worried. That was a terrible wreck with Pancho, and look at that down there. But at least he's moving, so it looks like maybe that's good news for us, at least.
Pancho climbing out. Let's take a look there on the right-hand side. That's the battle that was going on between Mears and Carter for third place. Carter tries it on the inside. Looks like he just lost aerodynamics and touched the back of Rick's car.
There's no question about it. Looks like the air just let go. Look at the car totally broken up, and Pancho's in nothing but a capsule with no engine. Now it's turned
all the way over. Woo! Johncock comes by. Frightening accident for Pancho Carter. He was in a terrible accident in a private practice session at Phoenix in 1977. Badly injured his pelvis and legs.
Strangest race I've seen.
Moving in on Mario Andretti. Right now, Sneva is behind Mario, as Bob mentioned, by 11 points. And he's trying to gain a few markers on Mario right now. That's Mario on the left-hand side of your screen, the bright red. And we have a crash in turn number 3. 2 or 3 cars involved in between turns 3 and 4. It looks like John Paul Jr. has met with the outer cement. That scene right there is midway between the third and fourth turn.
And Larry, there's also a car to the inside of the racetrack down in the grass. And it looks like, well, we will hold off on identification of that car. But John Paul Jr. is indeed involved, and that car is sitting up high. It is a yellow car, we know that. But we will again hold off on any positive identification until it is given to us by the CART officials. The safety vehicles have arrived on the scene as the pit stops are being made. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bob Jenkins. We have 2 stories to update you on before we start this event. First, Derek Daly, injured in yesterday's crash. Derek underwent 3 hours of surgery last night to prepare the bones in his broken legs. Besides that, he has a broken hand. He has the left leg in a cast. The good news is that there are no internal injuries and there are no head injuries. Derek is reported to be awake and alert. With me is Larry.
A little bit oily. There's a crosswind that's causing the understeer, the front of the car to wash out a little bit as you come out of turn 2.
A crash. We can't pick it up yet. I can't see who it is. Parts everywhere. Yellow flag out. This could be a very bad. Oh, this is terrible.
Could be the worst crash that we have seen in Indy in years, Jim. I'm afraid the driver
rescue equipment
is in
there as usual. I'm afraid.
It looks like Pat Bedard.
Let's say it until we are sure. Could be Pat Bedard, the racing writer turned driver, a man in his 40s. Yes, he's in there.
I'm afraid.
He's in there in the front of the car. The engine gone.
Front gone.
However, that part is all in one piece.
Well, yes, it is. And these are survival.
Two of the worst crashes we ever saw were Tom, Sneva, and Danny Ungaius. Ungaius particularly, we thought might have been dead.
Yes.
And he's back in the race. Sneva's only back in, but fighting for the lead.
Really?
Let's see, is his head
Jim,
moving?
I don't know, but it's very encouraging to see that survival capsule
and there's no fire.
Very much intact. There is no fire. There hasn't been serious fire here for quite a few years.
Yeah. Well, let's see what we have in slow motion. See if we can see what happened. We just came in on the end of that. Still working on the driver. Tentatively identified as Pat Bedard. Well, you see that smoke. That's not it. Here it is over here.
Yeah.
Into the inner wall.
The inner wall
flying.
there. Incredible.
Well, you see it.
Violence. Well, now you know what happens when something goes wrong at 200 miles an hour. You know, sometimes, you know, Jim, you really don't understand the speed.
But the flying parts, again, do dissipate the energy. They, in a sense, give the driver a chance, rather than a solid car that gives all the force to him.
Nice thing about it is we've seen an awful lot of names up at the front of the field. That's always nice in racing. Johncock, Mears, Little Al, Foyt, they are all in there fighting, and the fight is for third, though they begin to spring out a bit now.
Well, that was
Little Al gets into the side, and Al, an incredible accident, both cars flipping, another serious accident at the Michigan 500. 2 cars together. Al Unser Jr. and Chip Ganassi is what it appeared to be. I'll hesitate because there is no visibility now in the backstretch. Bobby.
Well, that looked awfully bad. I hope that wasn't as serious as it looked like.
Going to the help of one of the drivers. You saw it happen live right there. No movement at that car. I believe that is Chip Ganassi. There is the first crew there on the scene. Second crew there. Still trouble with visibility. Will hesitate. We don't want to indicate anything until we see it and know it. You're looking at it as we are. Al Unser Jr., Chip Ganassi, the two cars that are there. Visibility is terrible. The report is that Al Unser Jr. looks okay. Bobby, let's look at it again. They come onto the backstretch. Ganassi looks like he gets off the wall and collects Little Al.
Yes, he definitely broke something, and just take Little Al right down with him. But he obviously, Chip, broke something on his car because the car just made an immediate turn.
And they hit the road. I think really you've just seen the top of the car coming off. That
yes, because
the car flips. But that's the nasty one as Ganassi hits the fence, catches the barrier. Car was in the air, looked like the top of the car slammed into the barrier.
For Chip's car, it was a very bad wreck. It looks like Little Al's car stayed right side up through the whole thing, as near as I can tell, Paul.
This has been a nasty section of the Michigan Speedway course. We'll talk about that in a moment. See, he just turns. Apparently something breaks. Al collects it.
Yes, it did. There was no place for Al to go, and see, Chip is just continually going down and just holding Little Al there, and there's nothing either driver can do anything about.
Watch this. This will give us an idea, too, of that's just the top coming off the car. But as they get across that ditch, Chip gets high into the air and slams into the barrier, oscillates in the air. Tremendous accident. The car badly damaged, literally cut in half there.
That's a bad accident, Paul.
This is the same place